Are the speakers working? Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
All right, let's get ready. We can go live in a minute now. I'm Madiam on board the chauffeur.
Come.
Can. Wake the spirits up. Can. Sound the alarm, Yasharala, but Shamash Kawashai. Can. I'm Madiam Wapanya, Yarushalam, stand and face Jerusalem. Amashiach Spalal, the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6, verse 9. Abanawa, Shabashamayam, Kwadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahawa, Malakwathka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayam, Natan Lanawa, Lakam, Kol, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Anawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hawashan Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahatapa Arath, La'awalamyam, Ba'asham, Amashiach, La'awashai, Tawara, Aman.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive men not their trespasses, neither will thy Father forgive your trespasses. For water from Yad Aman.
Aman. Yashabian, be seated.
Every time I come up here to read, the smoke always comes directly into my throat. Kills me. Makes it hard to read. Every single time.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasharala.
Shabbat Shalom.
Can our praise to the Most High, by Shomash Gawashai, and the Most High again for another Shabbat day, where Israel can come together in the holy convocation as per the covenant that they made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, and we are the descendants of such generations of people, mighty people, the chosen nation of the Most High. In these last days, we are here to wake up our people to bring them back into the fold of Israel. Take them out of the ways of the world, bring them back to their heritage, nationalities. Okay, we are the Light of Zion, located down in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2937 West Broad Boulevard. I'm Elder Bishop Lapalan to my left.
Captain Yakazako Alhamad Zak.
Shomash Gawashai, Kan. On Fridays, we normally, what we do is go to historical events to get our people acclimated to their true spirit, get a feel of where they're coming from historically. So you can have an idea of who they are today and where they're going to be and who they are going to be in the future. So at this point in time, we are in the book of Chronicles, and we're up to where King David is in the process of coming into the rulership, succeeding his predecessor, which was King Saul, as king of all Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. Because we know, let's get on. Got it? Colossians.
The book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the power and the Father by him.
Right, whatever we do in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Most High and Mashiach Yahushua. Because with the Most High and Mashiach Yahushua, there will be no Israel. There will be no chance for redemption for us by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. So I was saying, King David is what was that? Right. King David is about to be the new king of Israel, because his predecessor, which was King Saul, and his son Jonathan had died in battle against our enemies, and even David himself had many battles, wars against Saul himself. But now the Most High had anointed David to be king of Israel to succeed Saul, and we are about this era of time. Saul being the first king of Israel, and I understand Saul's rulership started around 1053 BC. 1053 BC, and he reigned for 40 years, up until 1013 BC. Okay, that's how long Saul reigned for. As a matter of fact, there were 3 kings of Israel who reigned for 40 years each: Saul, King David, and King David's son Solomon. They reigned for 40 years each. Saul, the first king of Israel, started his rulership in 1053 BC and reigned until 1013 BC. So obviously, since David succeeded Saul, David started his rulership when 1013 BC. That's like roughly little more than 1,000 years before Yahushua came. Just to put things in a in a timeline perspective, so have an idea. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to First Chronicles chapter 12.
First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 1. Now these are they that came to David to Ziklag, while he yet kept himself close, because of Saul the son of Kish.
Yes, these are they who came to David to Ziklag. That's where David was, while he kept himself close because of Saul the son of Kish. What does it mean? Because he kept himself close more. He didn't reveal himself too much or too often, because what? Saul was trying to kill him. Read on.
While he kept himself close because of Saul the son of Kish, and they were among the mighty men, helpers of the war.
So David admired the men around him. You can't go to war by yourself. You have to have a militant soldiers around you, and not just soldiers around you. You have a close knit of soldiers around you personally, as a mighty man. Understand? You have the general army, but you also need to have a men around you as a leader. Read on.
First Chronicles 12 and 2. They were armed with bows, and could use both the right hand and the left in hurling stones, and shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin.
So I see that so these men were Moses has given us an idea of the skill, the military skill that these men had. They're men of who skilled with a bow and arrows, who could use both the right and the left hand, shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin. So So even the Benjamites who were of Saul's tribe, they were defending David, because it wasn't a tribal war. It was a war about righteousness and on wickedness. And I said, regardless of what tribe you were, if people saw that the Most High anointed you to be king, and that you move in the right spirit, that's who that's who the righteous people were defending. And even the Benjamites, who with a particular skill of without the bow and arrow, they also defending was also defending David. Read on.
They were armed with bows and could use both the right hand and the left in hurling stones and shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin. The chief was Ahiezer. Then Joash, the sons of Shemaiah, the Gibeonite, the Gibeonite, and Jeziel.
Gibeathite.
Salakia, say again?
Gibeathite.
Gibeathite, Salakia. And Jeziel, and Pelet, the sons of Azmavat, Theth, and Beraka, and Jehu the Antorite, and Ismaiah.
I jump to verse 8. So get an idea that different tribes were there. People of different tribes were there helping David. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And of the Gadites were separated themselves unto David into the hold to the wilderness to the wilderness men of might, and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains.
Right, so these men are fierce warriors, just a countenance, just appearance. These men, they ain't playing. The Gadites, that's what men the shield and the buckler. They are, they are the spears, the sword, and they are the shield in one hand, and so that's how the parts of the Gadites were. Let me jump down to see if another tribe. What do you got?
Yeah, so you already know what a shield is. But a buckler, if you look into the Romans and you see when they trained, a buckler is basically a smaller shield that's carried right here in your hand. It's like a shape, like a small circle.
Yeah, I was thinking it was that one.
Yeah, you see many other empires and other groups that ethnic groups that do it, that use it, like the Hamites, the Cushites, the Egyptians. They use it for a time. The Spartans used it a lot, but you'll see that. You're gonna see it. If you want to, you can pull a picture if you want to.
No, it's all right.
Con.
No, jump to verse 16.
Salakia. Okay. Verse 16.
Because if you're at home on your own time, to get the detail of all this, you can read the whole chapter from verse 1 to the end. But I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna summarize certain things, so you can have an idea. What went down. But to get the details, you can read the whole chapter on your own, at your own convenience. Verse 16.
Verse 16. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the hold unto David.
Well, so Judah and Benjamin. Let me see a map of there. Right. So, okay, that's all right. Another map we should have. Jerusalem is right, actually, the border of Judah and Benjamin. So that's why Benjamin was very close to David, because Jerusalem was like in the border between Judah and Benjamin. But read on.
Salakia.
Verse 17.
17 Salakia. And David went out to meet them and answered and said unto them, if ye be come peacefully unto me to help me, my heart shall be night unto you.
Knit.
Neat unto you.
You know what I mean? A knit like it's sewn to you. When a knit is like something is sewn to you, I'm gonna be one with you. I'm gonna bond with you. One people. If you're sincere in helping me. I'm gonna be I'm be so close to you. I'm gonna bond with you. We're gonna be one. Read on.
But if ye be come to betray me to my enemies, seeing there is no wrong in my hands, the Most High of our fathers look thereon and rebuke it.
See, David didn't say he was going to do if they were going to betray him, that he was going to do anything to them. He said the Most High is going to deal with you. Understand? That's how we should say. If you're here to help me, good. I appreciate it. I'm going to be one with you. But if you're here to betray me, then the Most High is going to deal with you. So it's never personal. It's not like I'm going to do this to you and do that to you. So the Most High is going to deal with you. Read on.
Then the Spirit came upon Amasa, who was chief of the captains, and he said, Thine are we, David,
Thine are we. You are us. Read on.
and on thy side, thou son of Jesse, peace, peace be unto thee, and peace be to thine helpers, for thine power helpeth thee. Then David received them, and made them captains of the band.
Right. So these are mighty men. Understand? So David was concerned. I want to make sure these men, the warriors, are really here to help me, and not just trying to infiltrate my army to betray me and then hand me over to the Philistines. Because David had very, very interesting relationship with the Philistines. You know what I'm saying? David, at one time, David was, he killed Goliath. But at the same time, David was rolling with the Philistines, and even some Philistines recruited some Philistines to fight against Saul and all that. So David, he would use whoever was able to help him in the situation. Understand? Even though the Philistine was enemy, but even though there was enemies in certain tough situations, he would align himself with the Philistine like mercenaries, because there were certain bands of the Philistines that David and his men would so-called align themselves with militarily and to carry out different military excursion against other territories. Read on.
Verse 19. And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came.
Manasseh also. Read on.
When he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they helped them
as
not.
a matter of fact, can you get me like 2 maps up there? Is it possible to give me 2 maps up there? Get me maps. With the Manasseh, Gad, and all that. Like with the tribes before the split.
United Front.
Yeah. This may be good. This one, right? Yeah, that one. Yeah, right. Yeah. See that? Yeah, that's good. Probably a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. See that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's have one. Lion Park. Can you get me like one of them drumsticks as a pointer? Babaka Shah. Yeah, like I was saying earlier. See that right there? Jerusalem right there. See? It's actually located. See, you see this dot right there? You can see that Jerusalem physically is located in the land of Benjamin. Understand? So that's why the Benjamites and Judah were also always so close, because the proximity of the different tribes right, the proximity of the tribes. Jerusalem with David, the temple was in order. It was actually in the land of Benjamin, even though Judah was ruling. And so Manasseh, where's Manasseh? Oh, Manasseh. See that? Even Manasseh right there. See Manasseh, the shape of Manasseh. Right. Maybe Manasseh right there. The southeastern part of Manasseh is right at the border in Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? So that's why read again, Ark, what verse was that?
Verse 19.
And there fell some of Manasseh to David. Probably the ones close right here. Close to Benjamin and Judah. And the ones who go, because they could have come down the River Jordan and all that. Read on.
Verse 19. And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle.
See that? And there fell some of Manasseh to David. The Manasseh linked up with David. They hooked up with David. When he came with who? With the Philistines against Saul. See that? David was with the Philistines against Saul. So the Philistines were so Saul was trying to kill David, and David at many times had to seek refuge amongst the Philistines.
Right.
And even had some of the Philistines backing him up to fight against Saul.
Right.
Understand? So very interesting, I'm saying. So even though the Philistines were enemies, there were certain men of the Philistines who David was cool with, so to speak. I'm saying who was part of David entourage, inner circle, military. Understand? So who would fight, would defend him against Saul when Saul tried to attack him. So we understand that. So and there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle. Read on.
But they helped them not, for the lords of the Philistines upon advisement sent him away, saying, he will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads.
But this particular Philistine said, you know what? We're not going to go through this. We're not going to help you because you're not going to win this battle against the Lord, Saul. And once you lose the battle, then what's going to happen? Then Saul is going to come against us. So then that's going to put us in jeopardy. He will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads. So they were concerned that this guy's not big enough to go up against Saul. And if you defend him, see they were real loyal to David in the literal sense of the word. They would have seen what they could gain if they could gain something politically or economically from it. Then I'm saying, so that's what y'all meant. It's not about loyalty. It's about what they can get from certain alliance at the point in time. That's what it was when the Philistines were rolling with David. So they went back and said, no, you're on your own, David. We're not going to back you against Saul. Because you're going to lose this battle, and then what? Then Saul is going to come against us. Read on, verse 20.
And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle. But they helped them not, for the lords of the Philistines upon advisement sent him away, saying, he will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads. As he went to Ziklag, there fell to him of Manasseh Adnah, Jozabad, Jediel, Michael, Jozabad, Elihu, Zilphai, captains of the thousands that were of Manasseh. And they helped David against the band of the rovers.
And the band of the rovers. So what's a rover? Rovers are people like they're just out there on their own, doing their own thing. They're not really, they're just, splinter group, so to speak. Like people who go, like they say, they go rogue. They're not part of the mainstream military, but they're just like A person who spends their time that's wandering. That's what rover is. It's one order in various a player not restricted to a particular position on the field. Right. They just going rogue. They broke away from the establishment, do their own thing. You know, like you're part of an organization. Then they feel like, I'm gonna do my own thing. So these rovers like splinter groups of military men. So David has his own method to defend him against those type of mighty men, so to speak. That's what rovers were. Read on.
And they helped David against the band of the rovers.
Band of the rover, right?
For they were all mighty men of valor, and were captains in the host.
Yeah, so the men, you had these rovers out there, these gangsters, military men out there, are just doing their own thing, just raiding. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They're the raided territories. If you look careless, and they see they could just raid the territory, get some cattle and sheep and all that, and get some women, and then they establish a little community. That's what it was. You had those kind of men going on back in those days. They weren't trying to be in a part of an establishment. They're just out there doing their own thing. Yeah. They're like menace to society. You know what I'm saying? That sister said what? There's not new under the sun, right? So whatever you see going on right now, it was going on back in the days. This was those rovers or wanderers. Read on.
For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him until it was a great host, like the host of the Most High. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready to arm to the war, and came to David to Hebron, to turn the kingdom of Saul to him, according to the word of the Most High.
Right, so little by little, men start gravitating to David. They're saying, the Most High is with David. This is all we need to defend. We're not going to be defending this rovers or Saul or be loyal to any particular tribe because they're from this tribe. We're going to defend the man that the Most High set up, which is David. So, in the process of time, all these men from the various parts of the country are even people from other nations say, we're going to defend David because we see the Most High is with him.
It will be in our best interest.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be our best interest. I'm going to see that too. So David, in the process of time, David got a mighty army according to the word of the Most High to fulfill prophecy. Read on.
Verse 24. The children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800, ready armed to the war. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi, 4,600. And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites. Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites.
And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites. See that? It's Aaronites. Who are Aaronites? Those who descended from Aaron. And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites. So, yeah, wow. And with him were 3,700. Read on.
And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites, and with him were 3,700. And Zadok, a young man, mighty of valor, and of his father's house 22 captains. And of the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000. For hither the greatest part of them
For hitherto
the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul.
Right, because prior to this, the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul. So most of them had been loyal to Saul, but many of them were still loyal to David. So let's just give an idea. Read also Ephraim. Okay. Read on.
And of the children of Ephraim.
So this is going to give you the list of all the men of the different tribes, the mighty men of the different tribes, who say what? we're backing David. We're going to be a part of David's military. Because we see that David is going to be the king as per the Most High of all Israel. Because he was anointed to be the king of all Israel. I read on. As a matter of fact, no, jump down to verse chapter 13.
13?
Mm-hmm. Chapter 13.
Oh, chapter 13. Slakia. Verse 13. First Chronicles chapter 13, verse 1. And David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. And David said unto all the congregation of Israel, If it seem good unto you that it be of the Most High our power, let us send abroad unto our brethren everywhere that are left in all the land of Israel, with them also to the priests and the Levites which are in their cities and suburbs, that they may gather themselves unto us.
Right, so David consulted. What does the scripture say? In the multitude of counsel, there's safety. Understand? Even with people you think are, even with people who take orders from you, you need to know what they think. Because so to speak, they are what? They're the boots on the ground. They're the ones with the intelligence. They're the ones coming to you, letting you know what's going on. So you need to consult with them to get their feedback, to get their analysis of what's going on, so you can have a better picture of the situation, so you can make wise decisions. So David consulted with captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader, captain of thousands, of hundreds, captain of tens. And he said, "All right, yeah, you know why not?" And he said, "Further what? Let us send out to a so-called diaspora, to different regions of Israel, to let them know, to get their feedback, so they can have an idea where we stand with them." Read on.
And let us bring again the ark of our power to us, for we inquired not at it in the days of Saul.
Right, so, yeah, because they didn't inquire much about the ark of the covenant. Because Saul was going off, man. So David said, man, let's inquire, let's bring together the ark of the covenant, and let us keep this communication going with the Most High, and inquire of the Most High through the ark of the covenant. Read on.
And let us bring again the ark of our power to us, for we inquired not at it in the days of Saul. Mm-hmm. And all the congregation said that they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. Mm-hmm. So David gathered all Israel together, from Shahar of Egypt even unto the enter of Hemath, to bring the ark of the Most High from Kirjath Jearim.
So David gathered all Israel together from Shihar of Egypt, even unto the entering of Hemath. Got something? See that right there? That's telling you Israel was scattered. Not just in Israel, but they were scattered to the so-called diaspora. But wherever they were, though, they knew they were Israelites.
Right.
So when they reached out to them, they were speaking all language, speaking all the Hebrew language and all that. They knew who they were. But because things weren't organized, man.
Is that on? Does he have a map on that? Where it says Shihor of Egypt and Hemath. Yeah.
Let me see that map. The one that was up there before.
Because that's a good precept that shows you that even during that time, there was Israelites that were living outside of the land. He was calling Israelites from Egypt to come up to Israel, because he was bringing the Ark of the Covenant to his party.
See where Egypt? No, it's all right. It's all right. It's okay.
Okay.
We can see a Philistine, right, goes to the west of Israel. We're gonna go back to this map anyway. We're gonna need this map, so keep it close by, because we're gonna reference this map as we go on. Go on. What do you got?
Say again? Say again?
Is there a common reason why we keep on sojourning everywhere? It's we were a nation formed in another country. Understand? We were a nation formed in Israel, and even while we were in transition from a nation formed in Egypt. Understand? That's and even while we were coming out of Egypt and in the wilderness, and many times when people what complain about what. Let's go back to Egypt. Let's go back to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So we always had a mindset that things are all, you know, so-called green on the other side. You know, because even we were like we had like a nomad mentality. We always, through the history, we always, even in Egypt, I don't know. That's why, even today, you know, like in so-called West Indies, we were colonized by the British, the French, the Portuguese, and all that. For some reason, we want to go back to their land because we think it's more prosperous over there.
I can see if they kind of use the Jamaica to Britain type of thing.
Jamaica to Britain.
We like to go to Britain, even though they kind of had a land. You know, we kind of
The Haiti go to France. Yeah. Even the Brazilian want to go to Portugal, and a lot of even different parts of Africa. Even though we know Africa is Ham and also Shem, and they were colonized over there, but they think it's better to go back to those places because they're supposedly more advanced, because they're more advanced, and you know what I mean. For some reason, the spirit may want to cling to those places because they look more prosperous. And things sometimes if things aren't so established where you are or where you want to go, and it looks more more prosperous someplace else, you want to go there. So that's what it was. I read it. Go back. What verse we're in? Chapter 13, verse what? Verse 6.
First Chronicles chapter 13, verse 6. And David went up, and all Israel, to Baalah, that is, to Kirjath Jearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up thence the ark of the Most High, the outer one, that dwelleth between the cherubims, whose name is called on it. And they carried the ark of the Most High in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab.
Right, so Israel was transporting the ark of the covenant, okay, from Hebron, bringing it up to Jerusalem, and they carried the ark of the covenant in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab. Read on.
And they carried the ark of the Most High in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab. And Uzzah and Io drove the cart.
So like a cart, you know, like a cart wheels.
Oh, I got it. Oh, no, I had a picture, but no, it's all right.
I'll read on.
Yeah. Verse 8. And David and all Israel played before the Most High with all their might.
They played.
And verse 8. And David and all Israel played before the Most High with all their might, and with singing, and with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cymbals, and with trumpets.
So they were getting down. They were getting down, man. Having a good time. and the instruments. I'm saying playing the harps and all that, singing and you know what I mean? Yeah, playing the different musical instruments, giving praise to the Most High, giving thanks to the Most High. It was a joyous moment. And I'm saying, going to where the temple is going to be built, and where the ark is going to be situated, where they could call upon the Most High through the ark of the covenant, and being in direct communication with the Most High. And there was pouring their heart into this, man. It was a festive moment, singing and dancing and playing the harps, the psaltery, the timbrels, the trumpets, the cymbals, and all that. Getting down, having a good time, giving praise and thanks to the Most High. Read on, verse 9.
And when they came unto the threshing floor of Shidon, Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled.
Oh wow! Now,
and the anger of the Most High.
They were transporting the ark in the cart, and the cart probably got maybe like a speed bump in the road, so to speak, a pothole, and the cart leaned to the ark. And look like the ark was gonna fall. So now Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark. For the oxen stumbled. The oxen was carrying the cart. They stumbled. Yeah, oxen. Yeah. Read on.
For the oxen stumbled, and the anger of the Most High was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him, because he put his hand to the ark, and there he died before the Most High.
Why was that? Well, Most High, the oxen stumbled and the ark was going to fall, and Uzzah put it for his hand. It's a natural reflex action, right? You see the ark going to fall, you naturally, your reflex will go, what? Grab the ark before to prevent it from falling, right? That's what Uzzah did. And the Most High didn't like that. Let's find out why the Most High didn't like that.
What you trying to do?
Let's find out why the Most High didn't appreciate Uzzah reaching out and trying to prevent the ark from falling. Read on.
So, like, you want me to read the script?
Read on.
What? I got a precept.
No, we got read on. Let's see.
Okay, come. Verse 11. And David was displeased, because the Most High had made a breach upon Uzzah. Wherefore that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of the Most High that day, saying, how should I bring the ark of the Most High home to me? So David brought not the ark home to himself to the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite.
What precept you got? What you got a precept?
Oh, it was just a quick precept on the guy who died by the Lord.
Okay, go. Read it.
Read it. Sirach chapter 43 verse 29. The Lord is terrible and great and very great and marvelous in his power. That's why when you read the scriptures, it says that it's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of the Most High. You know what I mean, he flinched. Most High saw him. He's like, "What you trying to do?" Boom. Most High killed him just right there. Because who's supposed to be touching the Ark of the Covenant? Who's supposed to be touching the Ark of the Covenant? Huh? Who's supposed to be touching the Ark of the Covenant? This guy, the high priest, and that's only once a year during the feast of what?
Only the Levites can touch the Ark of the Covenant.
During the Feast of Atonement.
Only the Levites can touch the Ark of the Covenant. No other tribe can touch the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? We're going to see the process of this lesson of going forward. Why the Most High smote Uzzah. Understand? The Most High didn't smote Uzzah because they tried to prevent the Ark from falling. The Most High smote Uzzah because Uzzah was not a Levite. Yeah, under no circumstances can any other tribe touch the Ark of the Covenant if you're not a Levite. You're gonna be a Levite to touch the Ark of the Covenant. That's why the Philistines were we're gonna read that maybe another time. When the Philistines would capture the Ark of the Covenant, And most again, all members all over the place. Yeah, yo. If you're not a Levite, you got no business touching the Ark of the Covenant. The Most High will smite you. That's what happened to Uzzah. You don't say that right here, but just to give an idea that what really happened. Okay, no, God. So David said, yo. David said, and David was displeased because the Most High had made a breach upon Uzzah. David was mad. But yeah, David was singing carnally. David didn't see hey, why the Most High did that. The Most High wasn't playing. When the Most High said only the Levites can touch the Ark of the Covenant, it meant just that. Even in a situation was accidentally that you, even when they had good intentions. Wow. And that's why David was nervous. Wherefore that place is called Perezuzah to this day. And David was afraid of the Most High to that day, saying, how shall I bring the Ark of the Most High home with me? Maybe that was a sign to David that you shouldn't bring this Ark home to you. Because if David had brought the whole Ark home to him and maybe his family inadvertently touched the Ark, his whole family would have been killed. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all Judah. At least they may not all been maybe some of them were about him, Levites, maybe he had a Levite wife or something like that. I don't know. Because he had many wives. So David brought not the ark home to himself, to the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. No, the Gittite now. The Gittite. What is it? The Gittite. The Gittite is like a city where it's from. That's not its tribe. And that's sometimes you know, just like we read earlier about the Aaronites. We know those are the ones who descended from Aaron. Sometimes they identify you by your lineage, by the famous person that you descended from, and sometimes they may also identify you based on the city, a famous city that your family inhabited. So when the Gittite right here, the Gittite is not a tribe; it's a location. So this we know the Gittite. This Gittite was this what's his name? Obed-Edom was a Levite who was a Gittite.
Yeah, Obed-Edom.
Right, Obed-Edom. He was a Levite because we know that Moses only David said, you know what? You're a Levite. Okay, I will let the covenant stay with you. You know what? A problem with the Most High. So you keep the covenant for now, bro, until we get Jerusalem situated. And the ark of the Most High remained with the family of Obed-Edom because they were all Levites. In his house 3 months. So the 3 months the ark of the covenant stay with him. And the Most High blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that he had. So the Most High blessed Obed-Edom because what? The ark was in his house. Wow. The ark was in his house, so the Most High blessed him. David said, I want some blessing, but I don't want to get jacked up, so I'm not going to keep the ark. I'm a Judite. So I'm going to keep the ark in my house.
So that may have been a lesson to
Yeah. Well, David knew, but but I guess yeah. They never anticipated that the ark was going to fall like that. That would be a situation where the ark was going to be possibly fall. If they knew that, then they would have said, no Levites, no other tribe but the Levites are gonna drive this cart. I'll be near this oxen of following this cart. You know what I'm saying? So that some other tribes say, so it's all right. They said that the cart is safe. Even though we ain't gonna touch the ark, so it's good, but that wasn't the case. Chapter 14.
The book of First Chronicles, chapter 14, verse 1. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and timber of cinders.
No, let's see. With King of Tyre. Where's Tyre?
It's north.
Right. Tyre and Zidon. We know what those famous cities. Let's where's he going? There's another map up there with Tyre. Right there. See the Tyre? Yeah. On the west, on the west coast of the Mediterranean. Right there in the Mediterranean, see there was yeah. So here some a lot of those let me see the other map up there. Where'd they go? Let me see the other map up there. You know which other map we had up there? There's another map up there. Yeah, this one right there. Yeah, this one right there. See there, yeah, Tyre. So Tyre is right there. Right there at the border of Asher. The Tyre and Zidon, Sidon is just north. So Tyre is right there at the border of Asher. All right, right, okay. Okay, read on now.
Book of First Chronicles, chapter 14, verse 1. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and timber of cinders with masons and carpenters to build him an house. And
so Tyre, the king of Tyre, it's another nation of people, but they had I think Hiram's mother was an Israelite. So they had a linkage with Israel. So now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David and timber of cedars with masons and carpenters to build him an house. So they were offering the friendship to Israel, offering the friendship to David. Read on.
And they received that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted up on high because of his people Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters.
And David took more wives at Jerusalem. So, and David said what? For his kingdom was lifted up in high because of his people Israel. So, and David took more wives. So was it okay to have more wives? More than one wife? And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begot more sons and daughters. Read on.
Now these are the names of his children, which he had in Jerusalem: Shammah, Muah, and Shobab, and Nathan, and Solomon, and Ibhar, and Elishua, and Elpalat, and Noga, and Nepheg, and Japhia, and Ishshama, and Belida, and Eliphalet.
Let me see that map.
And when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David. And
So
David
no,
heard.
no. When the king of Hiram, when King Hiram of Tyre heard that David was anointed king, he sent him gifts and offered his friendship. But these Philistines, they had a different agenda. Read verse 8 again.
And when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David. And David heard of it and went out against them.
When the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David. And David heard of it and went out against them. So the Philistines didn't come to party. They didn't come to offer their friendship and hospitality. They come to do what? To fight with David. Because normally, that's what happened. Usually, that's what happened because you know, when you were a new leader, they say he's not established yet. He's kind of soft. Let's test him. It's probably what they were doing to David. Plus, you know, they knew who David was. They had an issue with David also, good and bad. Understand? It's David who kills Goliath, right? And you know that hey, they were in their feelings for that. They never forgot that. Even though at times some Philistines wrote at David because sometimes your enemy respect you to the point that hey, they will align themselves with you in a mission that's co-beneficial, beneficial to both of them. That's what happened when remember those men who was initially with David when he was going against Saul, but said, you know what, a second thought, to get this, it doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying? And these men who knew who David was. And even though David had killed their hero, and to a point, I mean, in a military sense, they respected him because he was a soldier. You find it all the time. You see enemies switching sides all the time, just like what's going on right now in the world, like over in Afghanistan, like in 1970 and 79, when Afghanistan was fighting against Russia, the U.S. held them out, trained Bin Laden on all of them. You know what I'm saying? Trained on all of them. And then what? When they drove with the Russians, what happened? They know, hey, and then the Americans trying to take over. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And now what happened? They tried to became first they were friends, then became enemies. Yeah, so enemies switch sides all the time. We don't see this as it's beneficial to them. It's all about money and power. That's where the loyalty is. It's never about the principle or you know what I mean, ethics or all that. I read on. Go back to where you at.
Verse 8. When the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it and went out against them.
So David didn't back down. Said, "Oh, they come to see me? Oh, they're going to pay me a visit? Okay, no problem. I'm going to say shalom to them." So David got his army ready, armor together to go up against the Philistines. Read on.
And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim.
So the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. Let me see where that is. If I can see that up there. The Philistines spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. So all right, it may not be on this map, but I saw Rephaim. The Philistines are okay. You see it? Rephaim. So it's okay. Most likely it's gonna be on this side because the Philistines are to the west, right? To the west of Israel. I read on.
And David inquired of the Most High, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines? And wilt thou deliver them into my hand? And the Most High said unto him, Go up, for I will deliver them into thine hand. So they came up to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there. Then David said, The Most High hath broken in upon my enemies by my hand, like the breaking forth of waters.
Right. So David inquired of the Most High if he should go up against the Philistines. And the Most High said, yeah, go up against the Philistines, and I will deliver them in your hands. So David went up against the Philistines. The Most High delivered them in his hands, and he smote them. Said what? Then David said, the Most High hath broken in upon mine enemies by mine hand, like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore they call the name of that place Baal Perazim. Read on.
Then David said, the Most High hath broken in upon my enemies by my hand like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore they called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And when they had left their powers there, when they left their gods there, David gave
See that?
a commandment.
And when they had left their gods there, they came with the artifacts, the little sculpture, the little statues and the idols, and the man-made stuff. They left their gods there. That's something, that's something that they carved out, carried in the pockets of a good luck or whatever. I say this is gonna protect us in a war against the Israelites. And the Most High smote them. And when when they had left their gods there, right? David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. Read on. So David what? Burned the gods. Read on.
So like you. First Chronicles chapter 14 verse 14. Therefore David acquired again.
Remember verse 13. And
Huh?
the Philistine verse 13 and flowing. Read 13.
So like
Verse
it.
13.
Okay, verse 13?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, was it in verse 12?
You just finished 12, right?
No, I ain't finished 12 yet.
I'll read 12 then.
So like you. And when they had left their powers there, David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley.
Right. Didn't they see that the gods couldn't protect them? So they try again. They spread the gods and they spread themselves in array in the valley. Read on.
Therefore David inquired again of the Most High. And the Most High said unto him, Go not up after them, turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees.
See, get me Exodus 15:13, man. Give me Exodus 15:13.
Exodus chapter 15.
15:13, yeah.
Exodus chapter 15 verse 13. The Most High is a man of war. The Most High is his name.
The Most High is what?
A man of
A
war.
man of war. The Most High is a strategist. Read. Go back to Exodus. Go back to Chronicles 14 verse 14. Read that again.
First Chronicles chapter 14 verse 14. Therefore David inquired again of the Most High. And the Most High said unto him, Go not up after them.
The Most High is the one who organizes war, man. David inquired of the Most High and asked, Most High, shall we go up against the Philistines? And the Most High said, Go not up after them. Read on.
Turn away from them.
Turn away from them. Don't go up. Don't take the path that you would normally take. So the Most High was giving what? Strategies. The Most High was giving what? The Most High was telling him how to go against the battle. The Most High was saying, don't fight them. He said, don't go up against them the way you were planning to, or the way you would normally would. The Most High said what? Go not up after them. Turn away from them. Read on.
And come upon them over against the mulberry trees.
Take another route.
Cut
Ambush
off.
them. Cut them off of the path. What do they say? Turn away from them and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. So that's the Most High said what? Ambush them. Take another route where we're not expecting it to be. So the Most High is mustering the battle right there. The man of war that the Most High is. He's orchestrating this whole thing. Don't follow the road that you normally take, but take a different route. Catch him by surprise. Read on.
Verse 15. And it shall be when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle.
See that? And the Most High said what? And it shall be when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that thou shalt go out to battle. So the Most High was telling them when to go to battle. He's gonna yeah, right. Give me what's in? The trumpet. As a matter, give me that scripture. When the sound of yeah, the trumpet. Is it the Corinthians? Is it?
Talking about Amos?
I think it's Corinthians. Oh, no. No, when I a distinct sound. What scripture is that? Are even Numbers?
You said a distant sound?
When the blood trumpet, there a distinct sound. When
Oh, you mean when the trumpets were being made?
the blood the trumpet, I make a unique sound. One sound for this, one sound for that.
Oh, the three,
The New
the three
Testament.
belong.
Yeah, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. I want to.
Says it's the New Testament?
Maybe Joshua. That may be Joshua.
Oh, I see what you're saying. 1 Corinthians 14:8.
Corinthians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Corinthians.
14:8.
Yeah, give me that.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?
Yeah, see? Read it again.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?
Right. If the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who's going to prepare themselves to the battle? Because the sound that the trumpet, if the trumpet gives a certain sound, that sound not for. Because when they blow the trumpet, you blow the trumpet in different ways. They send out different messages. The trumpet could be a trumpet of peace, of gathering, for feast days. The trumpet is blown in distinctive ways. They send out distinctive messages. So the trumpet is blown for a feast day of a peace. Mistakenly, when it should have been blown to muster the army for battle. The army's going to go, hey, start drinking, start eating and feasting and all that, when they should be prepared for war. Read it again. Read.
First Corinthians 14, verse 8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?
If the trumpet give the wrong sound, you're not going to prepare, give a sound for peace. You're not going to prepare yourself for war. Read.
So likewise, ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy
Right.
to
See,
be understood.
That's what that's talking about. Just let you know. So the sound that the Most High was uttering in the mulberry trees was a sound of what? A sound of war. Get yourself in a mind, a warlike manner, a mind frame of a warrior. You got something, Mark?
It was Joshua's 6 and 5. It was an example of how they're running. There was a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall flat and fall down.
Yeah,
flat.
right. But I was looking for the distinctive sound. Go back to Chronicles rather, but the mulberry trees.
1 Chronicles chapter 14, verse 15. And it shall be, when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle. For the Most High is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines.
That the Most High is leading the battle. The Most High is gone before thee. The Most High is what? Send out this battle cry. That's why even the Gadites when they were fighting against Esau, he uttered a sound, man, to encourage and alert the fellow Gadites, Native Indians, so-called Native Indians to fight against Esau. Read on.
David therefore did as the Most High commanded him, and they smote the host of the Philistines from Gibeon even to Gazer.
And they fought most of the Philistines of Gibeon even to Gazer. Okay. Oh, okay, see that? This is Gibeon right there. See the Philistines? Okay, so the Philistines were actually they had the nerve to be in our homeland, in our territory. See that? It's Gibeon right there. From Gibeon to Gazer. It's Gibeon and Gazer? Right. So that's where the Philistines came up against us. That's why I was saying you had to be on the west, western part of Israel, because that's where the Philistines were. Read on.
And the fame of David went out into all lands.
What verse is that?
Verse 17.
Okay.
And the fame of David went out into all lands, and the Most High brought the fear of him upon all nations.
Right, so David got his name. David got a name from a name of renown among all Israel and amongst all the nations round about. Because they saw the Israelites took down the mighty Philistines, the mighty Philistine army. Philistine had enough to invade Israel, and the Most High Israel smote them all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. So now Israel got a name of renown. David got a name of renown, and Israel became a nation of warriors amongst the other nations. Okay, we're gonna rip. We got what time is it? Yeah, we're gonna finish chapter 15. Let's go into chapter 15.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 1. And David made him houses in the city of David, and prepared a place for the ark of the Most High, and pitched for it a tent. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of the Most High but the Levites.
See that? Aha. We don't want this happen to we don't want this happen to anybody else. What happened to Uzzah? Y'all remember what happened to Uzzah, right? He had good intentions, but he was not a Levite. So the oxen stumbled, was about to fall, and the ark was possibly going to be damaged. So Uzzah, having good intention in mind, reached out to touch the ark of the covenant to prevent it from being damaged. But because what? The Most High strict, man. The Most High wasn't playing. The Most High don't play with his commandments. Even when you had a good intention, you had no business touching the ark of the covenant if you were not a Levite. So David was reiterating. That's why David said, you know what? I ain't gonna keep this ark. I ain't keep this ark in my house. And let this Levite, this brother from Gittite, this Levite from Gittite, let him keep the covenant for 3 months until we get things situated. Read on.
Verse 2. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of the Most High but the Levites.
Uh-oh.
For them hath the Most High chosen to carry the ark of the power, and to minister unto him forever.
Right.
And David,
that's not going to change. Read on.
And David gathered all Israel together to Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Most High unto this place, which he had prepared for it. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites, the sons of Kohath, Uriel.
See that? You notice that he kind of make a distinction, or basically broke it down. And David assembled with the children of Aaron and the Levites. Why did he say the children of Aaron and the Levites? Why didn't they say the Levites? Why is that? Because the son of only the son of Aaron's were allowed to do Like the Levites who could do that, basically the general work. Understand? In the temple. But as far as on the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy of Holies and all that, only the sons of only the son of Aaron's could do that. That's how most are making a distinction. I'm breaking it down further. Understand? Levites in general could do the general service of the temple, but in the Holy of Holies, the sacrifices and all that, only the sons of Aaron's were allowed to do those things. So we understand. Read on.
And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites of the sons of Kohath, Uriel the chief, and his brethren 120. The sons of Merari, Asaiah the chief, and his brethren 220. Of the sons of Gershom, Joel the chief, and his brethren 130. Of the sons of Eliphaz, Elisaphan.
Jump to verse 11.
Salakia.
Jump to verse 11.
Verse 11?
Mm-hmm.
Salakia. And David called for Zadok and Abiathar, the priests.
Right, so the priests who were David's priests, Abiathar and Zadok. Read on.
And David called for Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, and for the Levites, for Uriel, Asaiah, and Joel, and Shemaiah, and Eliel, and Aminadab, and said unto them, Ye are the chief of the fathers of the Levites. Sanctify yourselves, both ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of the idol one, the power of Israel, unto the place that I have prepared for it. For because ye did it not at the first, and the Most High power made a breach upon us, for that we sought him not after the due order.
Right, see that? So David was mindful that a place should be prepared for the Ark of the Covenant where we could inquire regularly of the Most High. So David assembled the Levites and the Aaronites, the priests, Zadok and Abiathar, and said, get the Levites together to bring up the Ark of the Covenant to this place that the Most High has provided for him. For it. Read on.
Made a breach upon us, for that we sought him not after the due order.
Because we didn't see the Most High after the due order. So we were lacking in communication with the Most High. Read on.
So the priests and the Levites sanctified themselves to bring up the ark of the idol one, power of Israel. And the children of Israel, the children of the Levites, bear the ark of the Most High upon their shoulders, with the staffs thereon, as Moses commanded.
And the children of the Levites bear the ark of the covenant upon their shoulders, with the staves thereon, as Moses commanded, according to the word of the Most High. Read on.
With the staffs thereon, as Moses commanded, according to the word of the Lord. And David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be the singers and the instruments of music, psalteries and harps, and cymbals, sounding by lifting up the voice with joy. Read on. So the Levites appointed Heman, the son of Joel, and of his brethren, Asaph, the son of Berechiah, and of the sons of Merari, their brethren, and Ethan, the son of Cushiah, and with them their brethren of the second degree, Zechariah, Ben Jaziel, Shem Miramoth, and Jeel, and Unai, and Elam, and Benaiah, and Manasseh, and Mathiah.
Verse 25.
You said 25? Or 24?
24, yeah, 24.
Verse 24. And Shebaniah, and Jehoshaphat, and Nathaniel, and Amasiah, and Zechariah, and Benaiah, and Eliezer, the priests, did blow with the trumpets before the ark of the Most High. And Obed-Edom and Jehiah were doorkeepers for the ark.
Right. Remember him? Obed-Edom? That's the brother who kept the ark for 3 months. Right. And the one who got blessed. So it was what? The doorkeeper for the ark. So he got a prominent position now. Read on.
So David and the elders of Israel and the captains over thousands went to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the house of Obed-Edom with joy. And it came to pass, when the Most High helped the Levites that bear the ark of the covenant of the Adonai, that they offered 7 bullocks and 7 rams.
And it came to pass when the Most High helped the Levites that bear the ark of the covenant of the Most High, that they offered 7 bullocks and 7 rams. Okay, read on. See, the Most High helped them. The Most High helped the Levites who brought the covenant, brought the ark of the covenant. Read on.
And David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and all the Levites that bear the ark, and the singers, and Shebaniah, the master of the song with the singers. David also had upon him a ephod of linen. Thus all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouting and with sound of the cornet, and with trumpets and cymbals, making a noise with the psalteries and harps. And it came to pass, as the ark of the covenant of David, of the Most High, came to the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looking out at a window, saw King David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart.
And it came to pass, as the ark of the covenant of the Most High came to the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looking out at the window, saw King David dancing and playing.
Right.
And she despised him in her heart. Because David was getting down. He didn't care, just having fun. He said, yo, we just defeated them Philistines. We're in our homeland. The Ark of the Covenant is coming to Jerusalem, coming to a place now where we can be in direct communication with the Most High. Nothing else matters. They were just getting done now, just freestyling, dancing. They just making a fool of himself by giving praise to the Most High. And it's Michal, Saul's daughter, looking at him so. Look at that nigga right there. What's wrong with him?
I can relate to how David feels, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that way on Sabbath day.
Yeah, on a Sabbath day, somebody getting praise to the Most High on a Shabbat service. You know what I'm saying? Somebody up in here not in the right spirit, looking at him. Hey, look at Lion Paul making a fool of himself over there. What's he doing? What kind of dance is that, huh? You know what I'm saying?
He said that's how he feels on Shabbat day.
If someone coming for the first time, or if they see us on or live stream, watching live, I'm just saying. I'm saying, what's wrong with them Israelites? If they to see us in the park, and I'm saying keeping Pentecost or something, I said, what's wrong with them Israelites? What are they doing? So we're gonna see how that plays out. That's in the chapter 15. Most High willing, we continue again next week. Right now we're gonna the brothers are gonna get prepared to go there and do the street teaching to edify our people, to bring them back into the fold. By Shem Mashigawashai and Tawara, Yesharada for logging in, for watching the live stream. Don't forget the Most High willing tomorrow. The Most High willing tomorrow, Chief Minister Shalimar, we're going to continue with the Shabbat service. And if you happen to be down in Fort Lauderdale, you're at 2937 West Broad Boulevard. Ba'ashem Hamashi Gawashai. And Madam Wapanya, Yerushalayim, Son of His Jerusalem. Kan. Psalms 133. And Madam Wapani Rashalam, son of his Jerusalem. Shayar. Hama Alwath. Ladawad. Hana. Ma. Tawab. Wama. Naayam. Shabbath. Akyam. Gam. Yakar. Kashaman. Hatawab. Ail. Haraash. Yarad. Ail. Hazakwan. Zakwan. Haaran. Shayarad. Ail. Paya. Manawath Yawa. Katal. Karamwan. Shayarad. Ail. Araria. Tazayawan. Kaya. Sham. Tazawa. Yahawa. Ath. Abaraka. Kayawam. Air. Awalam. Ma'ashem. Amashiach. Yahawashai. The water. Aman.
The book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It was like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there Yahweh commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Abana Yahweh Bahashem Asakawashai, the water from Yad Aman.
Aman. Kan.